Okay, so I kind of feel like we are behind in our coverage over the Ultimate Marvel Universe. We got to cover Ultimates, Black Panther. I'm still not covering X-Men, but we still got to cover Wolverine as well. Now, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get back over to covering Ultimate Black Panther. Now, technically, we're like 3 months behind, so I'm going to cover at least 3 issues in today's video, 12, 13, and 14. And so as we get into issue number 12, we're kind of picking up with T'Challa fighting against Moon Knight. Now, guys, remember, these two guys have been in war for a very long time. Not just Moon Knight, you also have Raw as well. But for T'Challa, it's him right now trying to prove that Moon Knight can be defeated. And so by the end of this section right here, we're seeing him being able to finally bring down Moon Knight. But here comes the big problem, because for T'Challa, he won. The battle is over. He should just walk away. But he doesn't. He continues to beat down on Moon Knight to the point where he rips off his head to kind of show his dominance. And so you have his people kind of looking at him kind of like, whoa, you just crossed the line. Like, you killed that man. You ripped his head off. And so we're kind of left to believe that this actually happened. But of course, it did not, because this is just a dream. And so now we're seeing T'Challa talk to a character known as Imala. Now, for Imala, they are the leader of the Vodou Khan. And for Imala, their main goal is to help Wakanda more in a magical way, in the mystic ways. And so for T'Challa, he's right now trying to look for answers. Now, for Imala, they had told T'Challa, like, listen, there's more things you need to know about vibranium. Now, for T'Challa, he's more science-based, want to look at things with science. But for Imala, they don't do that. Instead, it's them telling T'Challa, like, no, this is more magical. This thing is alive, has a god being behind it, and right now it's talking to you. It didn't talk to your father. It didn't talk to your grandfather, but it's trying to talk to you. But once again, for T'Challa, he's not trying to understand what's actually happening to him. But you do have Imala tell T'Challa, like, listen, tomorrow you are going to battle against Moon Knight. You are going to win the battle. But when you do win that battle, just know that his kingdom will now become part of your kingdom. His army will now become part of your army. Wakanda will grow again because of your battle against the Moon Knight tomorrow. But it's also T'Challa kind of realizing that he's now beginning to hear voices. He's now beginning to see these dreams that are happening over and over again because of his connection to vibranium. Now, with all that being said, the next day comes and we see T'Challa getting ready to battle against Moon Knight. And really, it's him saying, like, it all goes down here. Like, whatever happens, it all has to end here. If he wins or I win, again, it all ends here. And so the battle begins between the two characters. And so as the battle begins, you now have T'Challa see all these dark figures around him, kind of going with the idea that vibranium is building a connection with T'Challa. Now, the thing is, only he can see it. Nobody else can. But as the battle goes on, T'Challa realized he really can't focus on those dark figures. He has to focus on the battle. And so you have T'Challa being able to win the battle against Moon Knight, and to me personally, very easily. But after winning the battle, you think, like, okay, cool, he's done. But like we saw in the beginning of this chapter, in the dream, after he was able to beat down on Moon Knight, you would think he would stop, but he did not stop. And so you now have these dark voices, these dark figures around him, basically trying to bring his dream to life by telling him, no, you need to go ahead and kill him. Go ahead and do it now. And so you have T'Challa getting ready to kill off Moon Knight until he is stopped at the very last second. He is stopped by Doctor Strange, Storm, and also Killmonger. They are here to stop him, but also they are here to help him understand possibly the origin of vibranium. And so as we jump over to issue number 13, we're seeing Doctor Strange, we're seeing Black Panther being able to have that conversation with one another. But when it comes to their conversation, it's really her saying like, I can show you the origin of vibranium. But the thing is, you have to free your mind, meaning that one, you have to trust me, but two, you are a man of science. I am a woman of magic. We are from two different worlds. And the thing is, I can show you possibly the origin of vibranium, but I have to use magic. And that's the thing right there. You're a man of science. For you, everything must have a reason for why it does something in this world or in this universe. But the thing is, I can show you with magic. So please allow me to help you. Now, we also have to remember that for Wakanda, every single part of Wakanda was technically built by vibranium. But you do have T'Challa admit that he believes there's a mind in there when it comes to vibranium, that it is alive. But at the same time, he's losing his own mind at the moment. And you also have her say, listen, with the whole idea of you guys building Wakanda with vibranium, you just now put your entire country at risk because vibranium remembers everything. And so you then have Doctor Strange begin to use her magic as a way to dive into the vibranium to see if she's able to learn everything about it. But now she feels like she may have jumped too far ahead when it came to trying to figure out what is the actual origin of vibranium, because something or someone is trying to pop out of it. But before we're able to learn more about that, we have to jump over to Storm and also Killmonger. Now, for Storm, she wants to leave Wakanda. She loves the idea of being able to help people, but across the entire continent of Africa. She hates the idea of just being here in one place this entire time. But also, she does not trust T'Challa at all. Now, for Eric, Killmonger, he also does not trust T'Challa. But here's the thing. He believes Wakanda is the key to officially help out all of Africa. And so his goal to stay here long enough to kind of help Wakanda realize it needs to help everybody across the entire continent, not just his own country. Now, while you have the two characters talking to one another, they see the bright light coming from T'Challa's throne room. We see that she had brought some kind of powerful being out of vibranium. And this being is really powerful. His main goal right now is to go after T'Challa. Now, luckily for T'Challa, he has backup. Doctor Strange, Storm, Killmonger, they're all there to technically help out. But this creature shows a range of different abilities, but also shows how powerful it can truly be. And so for our heroes, it does seem like at first they might lose this battle. But luckily for our heroes, Doctor Strange is able to open up a portal to send that thing into space, deep space away from Earth. And so once the battle is done, you then have Black Panther ask Doctor Strange, like, hey, did that creature truly come out of vibranium? Like, was it truthfully living inside of there? And you have Doctor Strange say, yes, it was. That was its consciousness, and I gave it a form, that body right there. And the thing is, we still know everything about vibranium, but she does tell Black Panther this, that your entire country is technically in trouble. And so as we get into issue number 14, we jump over to Nigeria and we pick up with a group of soldiers trying to move in on this camp that's being guarded by a bunch of mercenaries. Now, by the end of this battle, both sides have a huge amount of loss. I mean, the entire mercenary crew who was guarding that camp, yeah, they're all dead. Now, the soldiers who are moving in on the camp, most of them died except for one. And you have that guy call his boss and say, hey, listen, I'm the last man standing from both sides. He had his boss say, hey, sorry for your loss, but hey, listen, you came there for a mission. Make sure you secure the cargo. And the cargo is just more vibranium, but over here in Nigeria. Now, once you have the guy confirm he found the cargo, unfortunately, the same creature we saw in the last chapter just pops out of nowhere and says, you will do. You be the blood of the vessel. And as you know, the entire place explodes. Now, for a brief moment, we jump back over to T'Challa and also Killmonger. Now, these two characters are having a conversation about the idea of making Killmonger become the general for Wakanda. Now, at first, Killmonger's not really down with that idea, but then he said, you know what? He'll go ahead and do it. Now, with his conversation, you have Killmonger kind of explain things to T'Challa about Storm, why Storm kind of hates the idea of being in Wakanda. But it's also because she hates the idea of being somewhere in one place for too long, but also this place is just too strict. Out there, they were free to do whatever they wanted to do. Now, for Doctor Strange, what she's doing right now is kind of like meditating, but she's trying to find the best way to deal with dark vibranium. Now, with that being said, for Killmonger, his goal is go out there and to also find the artifacts that belong to Doctor Strange to kind of help them with their overall mission. So now we see Wakanda kind of being built a tad bit different now, with people taking on new roles in this country. But also for T'Challa, we see him putting on a brand new outfit that's not made of any vibranium at all, to kind of allow him to not be possessed by the dark vibranium at all, but to also allow him to finish the mission that he's trying to achieve here. But to close on today's video, we do pick up with a helicopter heading over to a camp in Nigeria, the same we saw earlier. Now, while trying to do that, you have three folks on this helicopter: a random lady from America, you have some guy who was the boss of all those soldiers, and also the pilot. Now, on the way over to that camp, they are then shot out of the sky and they crash land. Now, the pilot and the other soldier, they're killed off, only leaving the lady alive. But then she is grabbed by the same creature we saw earlier, who begins to kind of absorb her life energy, it seems like. And so now we see him about to become a major problem for our heroes in the next issue. But this is where we're going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.